welcome to episode 51, woo, of season 2 of Red Wings Rant. That's right, we're back live for an episode. How do you do? First of all, gotta throw out there, everybody that tuned in the last few episodes, where the YouTube channel just blew up. Thank you so much for coming along for the ride. So now you finally get a taste, if you're new to the show, of what Red Wings Rant is all about. Of course, we're tirades and impassioned pleas about your Detroit Red Wings have a home. Today we'll be talking, of course, the Red Wings getting the 6th pick in the upcoming NHL Draft. What are we going to do with it? Mike, we're going to talk about the real stars of the draft lottery tonight. You'll see who we're talking about. And Mike, why don't we make fun of the Leafs a little bit too? But before we do any of that, before we make fun of the lowly Leafs...
Wait a minute. Are you saying there's business again?
Yeah.
There's always business involved. All right, here we go. DraftKings Sportsbook is not only my favorite sportsbook, but also America's top-rated sportsbook. America! I love using DraftKings Sportsbook. Go ahead and ask me. I do. It is easy to navigate. It has plenty of instructions for new bettors.
Mike, do you love using the DraftKings Sportsbook?
Glad you asked. I sure do. Hey, you know what I love the most? There's plenty of instructions for new bettors and nearly limitless ways to get in on all the action you could ever dream of. You know, my friends and family and neighbors. Howdy, neighbor. Don't forget to go on your DraftKings Sportsbook app tonight. Well, he sure did. They've been loving DraftKings Sportsbook, and I know you will too. Listen to this great offer. DraftKings Sportsbook is putting you courtside with a chance to turn $1 into $1 times 100 in site credits. That's right. Pick any basketball team still in contention. Bet $1, and if that team wins, you get $100 in site credits. Can I say all in on the Suns? The Lakers are done. They don't care anymore. Anthony Davis is down. Throw that money in Phoenix, baby. Woo! All right, woo! Matt.
Don't forget, DraftKings Sportsbook also offers great odds and promotions on baseball, burpees, hockey, and so much more all week long. DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable, so you can deposit and withdraw your funds at your convenience. Download the top-rated DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code THPN when you sign up to turn $1 into $100 in free credits. Bet on a basketball team of your choice. Mike, who's that?
Phoenix Suns, baby. Woo!
To win their next game, and if they do, you will claim $100 in free credits. That's promo code THPN for a limited time only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Must be 21 or older, New Jersey, Indiana, or Pennsylvania only. New customers only. Wager paid out in site credits. Restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or in Indiana, 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
All right, the business is over, Matt. Matt, the only other thing that we've been excited for here, besides, I don't know, free agency and trades, we got the results of that dreaded NHL Draft lottery. And, Matt, once again, the number of the beast has struck Detroit. We get 6. 666. That's all we get, Matt. That's where we got Zadina. That's where we got Mo Seider. And it's where we're going to get, probably not the 6th best prospect. A lot of these teams don't know how to draft, but Iceman will probably get, the 4th best guy. So he'll get like 2 better than his draft slot. But
I'm pretty stoked that
it happened. I wanted Seattle to get number 1. I wanted the Kraken to, crack it open. And instead that some poor bastard's going to toil away in Buffalo before he gets mad and asks for a trade.
Yeah, it's poor Owen Power. I say that the Kraken ended up with number 2 because it was the highest pick they could give the Kraken before we really started knocking the walls down and saying this whole thing's fixed. It's just, there's something I still say. Come on. They've made sure that Edmonton's fine, and now they've made sure that these metropolitan teams. You've got New York. You've got across that disgusting Hudson, the New Jersey Devils are fine with all their first-round picks. And today was Buffalo, who isn't in the circle around the Hudson. But,
look, if you're going to fix it,
you
fix it like the NBA. like LeBron leaves Cleveland, then the Cavaliers win like the next three. They win the next like three lotteries. The first pick. They don't move up to 3 or 2. They win.
Right.
Man, Anthony Davis, one of the great players right now. And he's why you should be hedging bets for Phoenix, like we just talked about a moment ago. Leaves New Orleans. What happens in like the next lottery? New Orleans gets Zion Williamson. Just fix it to our benefit. Do it like that. I know the fix is in, but let us get a take. I want a take of that, Matt.
Well, this would have been a good year for the Red Wings to finish last because Buffalo's going to get that first pick, and even just looking at it top to bottom with all the mishmash last year and a playoff team winning the draft lottery, Mike, this pretty much fell right into place, and Seattle moves up from 3 to 2, and that was basically it. Everything seemed to work out for everybody in this one. Red Wings. Yeah, it is funny. I saw initially everybody was so upset. I shouldn't say everyone was so upset. There was a good group of people that were upset about us landing the 6th, and I saw that, and I was like, "Phew!" Like when I saw pick 7 wasn't us. That's when I said, "All right, whatever happens from here is a win." Because if you hate the draft lottery, guess which pick we would have had? 6. So it's fine. This is fine. Like we all had our dreams of getting number 1 and Owen Power, but I do think, especially when we take a look at like the consolidated draft rankings, that the margins are razor thin this year in like the top 10. And a lot of it is going to have to deal with COVID and how many guys actually did get a good amount of scouting eyes on them. I think that's going to come into play. I think in a couple of years, we're going to look back at this draft and go, holy hell, what happened? Like this could be that draft. Nobody in the top 10.
Some people had some really good reactions to this draft, Matt. One of them being the GM for the Stars. Who's that, Jim Nill?
Yeah.
Friend of the show. I can't wait to share his reaction here for our friends on YouTube, Matt.
Well, I want to set this up. I had to reset my my screen here, so it's not ready to go. I apologize, but it is definitely that element of like, well, why was I even invited to come to this damn thing? This is comedy gold. There it goes. All right, Jim, we don't need you. Why the...
Well, fuck me, right? There you go. He whipped those earbuds out of his ears. I love that.
He had to make sure that whoever was watching knew what was going on. He couldn't just casually do it. This is sending a message, Mike. This is one that we're going to have to come back to as the year goes on.
Oh, that was, I think, the funniest visual. But, the Red Wings GM, Mr. Yzerman, also wanted to get his foot in there for the funniest reaction. Let's get this one queued up, too.
So just to set this up, this is Anzer Khan of MLive, who currently has us blocked on Twitter. In the Red Wings press conference,
if we share more of this kind of stuff, do you think maybe he'll unblock us?
Yeah, absolutely.
Not much separation there in the top 10. Players could pretty much see players going any order after the first couple of picks.
I don't even know about the first couple of picks. Who are they going to be? You seem to know.
No, I'm asking you.
I'm asking you.
Okay.
Who are the first 2 picks?
Owen Power, the first pick would be my projection.
Okay. Who's second?
I'll go with Edvinson.
Okay. Interesting. We'll note that.
Yeah. Thanks, Steve.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, God. Like, the cringe. Oh, Jesus. Put a guy on the spot too to draft the first 2 picks in the NHL draft just right off the top of his head. Now, of course, there's so many things to break down. If you guys are listening to this on the podcast, absolutely go over to the YouTube channel, there's a discussion, go to our playlist of all the Red Wings Rant episodes. You're going to enjoy Steve Yzerman's face. Definitely string.
He's if you've ever used the word bemused, definitely Steve Yzerman was bemused. Rocking back and forth in his chair, clearly very excited to sit in on this interview.
Honestly, this was either it's either anger of having to do this, like what in God's name does he need to do a press conference for the draft lottery for? Or Mike, or does he have to go pee? I gotta put it out there. He may just have to go pee.
That was for me a seated pee-pee dance. You don't see a lot of seated pee-pee dances. Usually you're upright and walking around. So
I mean, if we paint the scenario like I just said, why would he ever need to do a press conference, right? He can go, Mike. He can be on Sportsnet, TSN, NBC Sports, and do his little live Zoom meeting. And if we win the lottery, you have the GM ready to go. But I'm pretty sure Steve wanted to pull the old Jim Nill, and the second we landed the 6th pick, he wanted to take the headphones right out and whip them to the side of his desk. So there's so many things here that either it was pure anger, Mike, or just the fact that why would he ever need to do this? That of course he finished 2 bottles of water before this got going, and now he's got to sit there for a half hour waiting for Answer Khan, and god damn, he's still got Art Regner to come. I can't imagine. The whole table will be shaking while his legs going up and down.
I hope I'm not catching you too off guard. If you don't know, that's okay. I was just curious. Obviously, you shared arguably one of the funniest reactions to a ping pong ball reveal in Jim Nill. Yzerman up there too. Matt, did they happen to do all the GMs kind of in the lottery? Was there like a little short clip? I was just curious if you'd seen them or not.
I mean, for a split second, this is going to be. I'm not going to give you a good answer here.
That's all right. I just wondered if we got to see something from the representatives in Seattle. When they.
I saw an interview with Ron Francis before, but I didn't get to see any celebrations. The way they do it is so. I've got my two little ones. So what I did is I just had it propped up on my phone, and I was folding laundry while this is going down. So I did get to hear Ron Francis and his excitement and maybe fear for this upcoming draft, and him going, well, we would have liked a normal draft for our first year. Here we are.
I wish just one year we could flip the reactions, because on draft night, what they always do is the first pick is Owen Power, and they show him like, hello, who's this? Okay, I'll join you, Tim. And then he like walks over and shakes hands. I like the other side, right? I would want to see the GMs on draft night when they're like, they didn't pick him, they didn't pick him, they didn't pick him, and then you like get your pick all together. Then on the flip side, when the draft lottery is revealed and Buffalo's number 1, we can cut to Owen Power going, fuck! Fuck! He just throws his pen. He knows he's going to freeze his ass off in Buffalo and lose for 10 years. That's what I want to see.
That, Mike, there is somebody who pitched that, and there probably is footage from the first time they tried that. But I was going to say, Mike, we did get that this year as Detroit sports fans. We got to see when Penny was available for the Lions. We got to see that entire room explode. Didn't you remember that?
Yeah.
Oh my God, we don't have to think.
We got to bring that into.
Screw it up. Couldn't screw it up. Yeah. So I mean, a lot of good fun was had so far today.
Hot tag or line change question just before we go any further. I think everybody's saying Owen Power because he's 6'6". Man, who's your boy at number 2? Was it Gunther?
Are we? Do you want to take a look at?
We're not going to really dive into it now. I mean, there's a couple other items I wanted to get into, but yeah.
I would say the best place for everyone to go is Elite Prospects and go to the consolidated rankings. So they take everybody's ranking, all of the respected rankings. Owen Power's number 1, Brant Clark number 2, Matthew Beniers, or I'm sorry, I think we did look that up. Matthew Benier, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Number 3, Luke Hughes at number 4. Interesting. Drafting at number 4, the New Jersey Devils, who have Luke's brother. And Luke even was on social media today. Or I'm sorry, Jack was on social media today asking the Devils to make that selection. I think that would be kind of neat. At least, like it'd be cute. You get the Hughes brothers on one team. Number 5, William Eklund, who I said, now this is interesting. This is the guy I said, I don't know, back in the fall, jokingly, when he was projected to be in the 20s, I jokingly said the Red Wings were going to draft William Eklund. And right now, I mean, you look at like Bob McKenzie's rankings, he's got Eklund, I think, at number 2 off the top of my head. But the consolidated rankings have Eklund at number 5. So that puts him right next to the number 6. Of course, the sweet connections there. Playing in, getting some SHL play in there, just like our boy Lucas Raymond, and of course Moritz Seider. So they've been around him. If they're watching Seider, if they're watching Raymond, they're also watching Eklund. Same thing goes for the number 6 slot, Simon Edmondson, who I think that was who.
Yeah,
I think that's who Khan was mentioned at number 2.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like to Yzerman's surprise, I have not seen Edmondson that high. So I don't know where Answer Khan was coming from. I have seen him in this range. Did I hit on any of the names that you said? Did I?
Yeah, I just wondered because I remembered you liking Gunther.
Right,
a couple months ago, and he's still kind of rolling around up there.
I think that was when we were picking at 9, like we pretended to pick at 9. So he's at number 8. Right above him is Kent Johnson from the University of Michigan. Again, easy for the Red Wings to get some eyeballs over there. But yeah, Dylan Gunther playing for the Edmonton Oil Kings. 12 games, 24 points. Not bad in the WHL. But yeah, this is a guy who plays either side of the wing. And I mean, you rack up 12 goals and 12 assists. Clearly you're a playmaker. Clearly you have a shot. And this is something too, I think with Dylan, that this isn't us playing a long game. I think this is probably 1 or 2 years before he's in there. I don't know if any of these guys right away are ready to go, are going to take an NHL spot unless somebody's really in need to fill out a roster. Like you could look at Buffalo and say, of course, if they have Owen Power, they're probably going to fit him in the lineup because, I mean, they're dog shit. So they've got the openings. Then there's no strategy to their roster building. Like you could see with Yzerman, he's like, I want to improve a little bit, but not too much because I like these high draft picks. So there's that. But yeah, I mean, this is something I did want to take a deeper dive into everyone here just for like a little bit to give everybody like an idea of what's going to be available, where we're drafting. I don't know. You want to do that real quick, Mike? I can kind of pull up each person. We'll do like, try and stop me at like 30 seconds.
All right. I'm going to time you. Matt, we're going to do a new game. It's called Prospect Tweet. And Matt's got to do one tweet about each prospect outside of Owen Power because he's not going to be there number 6. So you can't pick him.
Right,
is there anyone else that you're not going to bother with?
Oh, my God. Wait, we have so many comments. There we go.
Hit me.
North Motto, I'm so sorry. He's got who dis? Wings are screwed. F the lottery. Oh, man. It's always the same teams picking first. Yes. Okay. So maybe, we were just on the same page. I just missed all the comments. Not sure how a fan is supposed to get excited about the draft. I think for this one, and I go back to my initial comments of us getting the 6th pick, and in my brain, I immediately celebrated because we didn't fall back. So when I saw that number 7 pop up, I think that's still where my head's at. I think it's still like, This isn't the draft where you're going to get Connor McDavid. it's just, I think if we all accept that, I think we just have to start figuring out, what hole can we fill. And that's where we start diving deep. And at least with the Red Wings, there's a lot of holes that need to be filled, right? So whatever direction we go with this, I think we'll be fine. And I think that's probably the best part.
I would say that North Motto has a good point about.
It's got another good point.
I don't know how you would get excited about tonight. We just get screwed every year. But you got to trust the people in charge. Definitely feels like Yzerman is, he's got the resume for sure. If you want to look over at Tampa Bay, and it looks like some of the picks that people thought he was a Looney Tune for are, starting to pan out already. People are drooling over Seider, and it was not that long ago that we all thought he was a madman. Why didn't he trade back? Why didn't he move back? And he's, I value the player that highly. I don't want to risk losing him. It's not worth it getting another second-round pick when I think Seider is going to, be as good as he is. And there he is winning, awards for, his performance in one season, as a kid. Yeah. So it does suck that it doesn't feel like we get that narrative ping pong ball story on our side, which it definitely seems like the fix is in more often than it's not, especially because we never really get to watch these ping pong balls get chosen. But I think you can still be excited, especially watching that clip of Yzerman, who, quite the poker player. And I think he's probably going to still find somebody above their value at number 6, which is the most important part.
Yeah, and the other one here that I don't know if you caught this one, North Moto threw in there. Maybe we should trade down, get some more picks. I think one of the things we forgot to share earlier, which was, let me see if I can pull this up now. See how long this is going to take me. It was a tweet I actually found from Hockey Prospecting. So this was actually from @Byron Bader, and he did some analysis based on some past drafts and how many guys that you actually how many NHL superstars you get, how many actual NHL players that you get from each draft, and based on how many picks teams have in each round, he's come up with a nice little algorithm to kind of show who's going to make out the best here in the NHL draft, the upcoming draft. So to North Moto's point of just trading back and getting some more draft picks, I think that's where I'm going to share this real quick for anybody who didn't have the pleasure of seeing this online. But here's that table. It might be kind of tough to see now that I pull this up. But you can see the Red Wings on there. Two in the first, 3 in the second, 2 in the third as we go on. Yada, yada, yada. 12 total picks. Expected stars to come out of that, and I believe this is the 4th highest number on his ranking, 0.43. So, Mike, we're going to get close to a half a star, half of a person, half of a, I guess, I don't know if a star player is Connor McDavid or if it's, I don't know how far back. I mean, do we consider Dylan Larkin a star kind of thing? But anyway, 0.43 stars coming out of this draft for the Red Wings and 3.33 expected NHLers. And this guy goes on in his tweet thread to talk about that 3.33 is based on these 12 draft picks. So this is just a numbers game. And if he even made the comment, if the Red Wings only come out with 2 NHLers, this is a failed draft. So, I mean, what's funny is, we talk about let's trade back and get a better chance at landing some more NHLers. But just to go back to this guy's tweet, of course, that expected NHLers is going to go up if we get another first round pick and some more seconds, something like that. But that's the game you got to play. I mean, I get what that guy means, like based on this table, if we only come out with 2 NHLers. But Mike, when we did our draft recaps, how many times were teams walking away with nothing? And I think that's what Steve Yzerman's just trying to make sure we don't run into is a draft where we get nothing, especially in a draft like this where we're all afraid because there isn't a Connor McDavid and a for sure like no doubter Alexis Lafreniere, who maybe his first season didn't pan out so great. And who's else?
Maybe he'll be a Tim Stützle.
Right. Hey, he was fun. But yeah, that's what we're looking at here, right? We just want to make that number go up, and that guy's analysis of this table, I think, is incorrect. I think it's wrong to say if we don't land 3 NHLers, this is a failed draft. I think it's just to say that team, Steve Yzerman's strategy put us in the best position to have a good draft. I think people get and we've seen it recently, Mike, in the NHL playoffs, and the guys of Dom Luszczyszyn, guys like Dom Luszczyszyn who have models that predicted the Stanley Cup Finals that involved the Toronto Maple Leafs didn't come to pass. It was the most likely thing to happen based on his model. It wasn't like, go bet your life savings on this. This model that we're looking at right now just says the Red Wings did the best job preparing to do well in this draft. I think that guy's statement is, if we don't land 3 guys, this didn't pan out, because you're just rolling the dice. I mean, we're going to roll the dice 12 times. We get to roll the dice 12 times. Other teams, 7, 10, 3 times for our stinky Toronto Maple Leafs. Like that, right? That's how to interpret this. I can't believe I'm telling a guy who took the time to make this model that he is interpreting his own model incorrectly. But everybody, that's how you use analytics. You don't say, here's your sure thing, go knock out your sure thing. Sorry, I get upset at people who are analytics experts and don't know how analytics work. All right. I do like this, and then we'll go back to this little game we were going to play. But North Moto threw in there. I think this is where we get our Braden point. That is a wonderful name to throw out there, and I
wouldn't complain about that.
Yeah, I think that's the kind of name that if you want to talk about a star player, instantly that guy is if we have Braden Point, he's the best player on our team, hands down. There's no question about it. So yeah, if we're landing Braden Point this year, we just don't know it yet. That's a win of a draft. Mike, if we come away with Braden Point and nothing else, again, why this guy's model and the way he's interpreting it, his own model is incorrect. If we only came away with Braden Point, good draft.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, we try to do a little digging to, about who we could trade with, about getting, maybe multiple first-round picks. And it looks like the teams that we would be counting on for that actually got slotted right in front of us. So we were kind of hoping for the Devils, maybe the Jackets would be that opportunity, but they're picking 4 and 5. So we'd be looking at their later round picks and, something in the future. And instead, I think we're just going to have to lean on Yzerman's brain. Chris Draper, helping out in a draft where his kid's not available. So maybe he'll be a little less nepotism this year. It sucks. I don't, those opportunities are not going to be there with so many picks. I think it's arguably more likely that we would move up if we got enamored of somebody. I just don't think we're going to be able to get what Steve would take, to lose value at the 6th spot.
Fethdar threw out there, Yzerman thinks he can build a winner without this first overall pick. Teams all had issues with scouting this season with COVID, so some good players are bound to drop. And I think that mixes in with North Moto's point of landing a Braden Point in the 2nd or 3rd round. And don't forget, everybody, Nikita Kucherov, 2nd rounder too. So I think that there's so much truth in that. There's so much that is going to drop. And like I said earlier in the show, where this top 10, this could be the top 10 where nothing pans out for anybody because we only had so much to look at. And a lot of guys that are in this top 10 were nowhere to be found at the beginning of the year. And some of the guys that were number 1 fell back pretty far, but you gotta, it's one of those things, right? Like what is a scout going to do? What is Bob McKenzie going to do when he's coming out with his list? Is he going to just base it off of, well, I thought this kid was going to be good last year? Or is he going to make adjustments based on the kids who are actually out there performing? And not just performing well, they're just playing hockey. So, of course, those rankings are going to change. But that is, I guess, right? Like, that's the game we're going to play. Is it possible that this just completely blows up in everybody's face? I like this. We will take Marner if Toronto throws in a first. Yeah,
what a nightmare. Would you rather be upset about the ping pong ball night like the Red Wings, or be a Toronto Maple Leafs fan? Oh my God!
Can I just say, Fatar, I made this exact tweet right after the Leafs lost. I'm like we're connected. I like this right now. I feel like I should go find it, but
Friend of the show.
Yeah, we'll take Marner if you throw in a first. No, and I think that's another fun game to play too right now with all the opportunities and the anger that is coming from Red Wings fans of like missed opportunities. We needed a first pick somewhere, and I mean, yeah, we're the North Division now is going to be Sens, Connor McDavid, and Austin Matthews after they're both eliminated in the first round. So, them's the facts. Do with them what you will. I think, Mike, soon I want to have a conversation with you about the mismanagement of those teams that get the first picks and how that's actually doing damage long term for these players. The stuff that the likes of Ted Lindsay had done that was good for the players and them getting paid more. It's not good that Edmonton fucking blows it every year and Toronto's blowing it this year or has already blown it. Like, these superstars should get paid. And now the argument is turning to don't pay superstars because it doesn't pan out. It's like, no, get rid of the cap. That's the problem.
Well, Toronto, it's not even skill anymore. It's such a mental block. I don't know what it's going to take. Maybe an exorcism of some kind, but it's not hockey related at this point. There's no reason they should have lost that series. And how many of the past seasons have we had to say that for them? It's supernatural. It's Detroit Lions-esque. It's just beyond reason.
I got to pat you on the back here, Mike, because you said when Mike Babcock was fired. Now, we at this show officially hate Mike Babcock.
Not advocates for him at all.
Friend. Yeah. But when Toronto fired Mike Babcock, and it had nothing to do with any of the Mitch Marner stuff, nothing to do with the Franzen stuff. It was about his performance, and they said this team should be performing better. They should get past the first round. Mike, you famously, which I tell our friends and family all the time, you said Toronto better hope that Mike Babcock was the problem. I wish, like, it's so funny. This isn't a Leafs podcast, so like it's not like I'm going to put that at the front of the podcast, but I wish I could because nothing has been more true. No statement that you have made has like come to pass more often for the Toronto Maple Leafs than that one of they better hope that Mike Babcock was the problem. And it clearly was not the problem. He was not the solution. He wasn't the coach they need. But clearly getting rid of him has made no difference.
Listen, Toronto. I got an offer for you. All right. You got this top line, all right? 3 big boys getting $10 million a year. All right. And we're a team that we're trying to get our lines together. Okay. We could use a top 6 guy. All right. I think you could use a leader. I'm thinking we do a little Mitch Marner for Jeff Blashill. What do you say? Matt, who says no? Who says no?
Low event hockey. You guys are just rolling the dice at that point in the third period.
Listen. Just make it 3-1. I'm going to coach us. All right. It's going to be, have you heard of Hungry Hippos? All right. You get everybody on their heels. We just limit scoring opportunities. That's all we do. We're up 3-1. The odds are we're going to win 1 of the next 3 games. You in, you out? Matt, who says no? I think
I
Yzerman.
think that,
I think
that is
Yzerman.
that's
I
the
want a
best
first
strategy.
rounder too.
That's the best strategy for the Maple Leafs at this point. Like, what could they possibly say? I mean,
You're
I don't
not
know.
taking my golden goose. All right, this is a company man over here.
Can I just say too, like, Toronto is now the best example of why people shouldn't get so upset about Jeff Blashill sticking around, because clearly, your full team does matter. Clearly, there's 18 skaters that matter. It's not just a coach. Can that be our evidence that we can all just go, all right, we're okay. Just another year of Jeff Blashill. It's not the end of the world.
I think
Which,
Jeff
by the way,
just put the Maple Leafs collapse on his resume, I think.
just points to it. All right, I thought you were Grand Rapids to Detroit. You spent some time in Toronto? No. That's my micro impression of Jeff Blashill. Hi, no. Or did I say transaction? Micro impression.
All right, let's move
God.
on.
Sorry, it's my two babies
so
at home brain.
Man, we promised we were going to make this a 30-minute episode, and as usual, we've dragged it out.
I've already gotten to the point where I'm like, let's see if we can go another 20 minutes, and we got another one in the can.
If we have, what was the gentleman's name who spoke up a moment ago?
We have Northmoto and Fethdar.
Yeah, both of them. I just brought this up because you can get kind of easily discouraged, by the way the lottery falls, and it doesn't feel like, for whatever reason, the Red Wings, it's not in the NHL's interest for them to get a high draft pick. So I'm looking at other business models, right? Yzerman's model, it seems to be working, right? We're kind of chugging along. Probably going to be about 4 or 5 years of this, toiling, bottom feeding for a while, just accumulating picks, and then getting all these, number 6s for the next 10 years, and then kind of moving your way up. It brings me to a question, Matt, something that a phenomenon that's going on in the NBA where teams are just giving up on, quote, future assets, and they're not giving up one pick or 2 picks for stars. They're giving up 3, 4, 5 picks, Matt, for players like players you've even heard of, like James Harden, Russell Westbrook, Paul George, Matt, even a guy like Drew Holiday, who, I tell you what, we talked about like Nick Jensen, defenseman, who, he's not on the sexy stat sheet at all. He's an analytics guy. That's Drew Holiday, just a fantastic defensive player. But he also was his value was multiple first-round picks. Matt, obviously hockey is a different animal due to the size of the roster. And obviously even the best players, best case scenario, are playing 33% of the game. So 66% of the game, not even on the ice. But we know one line can have a major impact. So Matt, tonight being another example where, again, you can't count on winning the lottery. And it's okay, maybe this year wasn't, the Stützle year. But when do you consider cutting your losses on drafting number 6 again and again, and you pursue that known superstar commodity? I'm talking about your boy, is it Peterson out in Vancouver, restricted free agent?
Yeah, Elias Pettersson.
Line, he's going to be a restricted free agent. We got Andrei Svechnikov. It's just a couple of names, and it's not anything new. Every year there's a couple guys like this. Matt, when would you think about going all in an NBA style move?
Not for Line. I think that's something.
He's a more well-known name. I'd say the other 2 guys are, more attractive acquisitions, but yeah.
I think it definitely depends on how many different opportunities you have at once. Like we talked about, and we workshopped a situation where we were getting a good draft pick this year, and then picking up Pettersson as a restricted free agent and dropping our next 4 first-round picks. And you're really overpaying Pettersson at that point because you want to get him outside of Vancouver's range. And then you have to lock up Dougie Hamilton because you don't want to start wasting years of Pettersson. And then at that point, you've seen enough of Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider that you think if it's not this year, the next year, you're going to be able to roll a couple of lines, right? So what stinks is that I'm basically painting the picture that you want to get set up to be competitive with the Toronto Maple Leafs with their two top lines. Like that's when you're really unloading the cash. Like think about John Tavares for the Maple Leafs, and I'm picking the Maple Leafs because they lost, but you know what? That like.
If you were playing in the video game, that's how you'd build your team.
No, you pick the Maple Leafs, right? If you wanted to win in the video game, you pick the Maple Leafs. They just clearly don't know what they're doing with the bottom six, which if you looked at the Red Wings roster, we have 12 guys that could fit in the bottom six, no problem. I kid. I jest. But like you know what I'm saying. I think the trust in the track record that Yzerman has, that we know what he'd get us for a bottom six because we could see it in the Tampa Bay Lightning, at least some of the pieces that are still sticking around. So I think those pieces are super replaceable. So you don't need to focus on that at all. It's all about what you can put together at one time for the top six. And like in our last episode, I talked about Jonathan Berggren, right? And I painted a picture where he was going to be playing with Joe Veleno and Adam Ernie. And this was basically me saying Berggren's a playmaker along with Joe Veleno, who's shown incredible skill already from a two-way perspective, even at his age, his experience level, and a center. And then you throw in, Adam, retire 73, Ernie, who can't be stopped, just keep throwing out the nicknames. Like that's something to me I was putting together because I saw opportunities for a first line where I'm not sure the center it could be a second line, but a first line mix of Zadina and Jakub Vrana. And we saw Fabry had some success. You could throw him in there, or you could throw in Larkin, and then you're just mixing in something with some for whoever left over. You've got Bertuzzi, and maybe you bring in another guy that could fill out that line. And they're right there. I guess that's where it is you have Elias Pettersson, and then you're hoping Lucas Raymond can round out that second line, and then boom, right underneath that you have a guy like Jonathan Berggren who showed a ton of promise in the SHL. You're throwing him on the third line. So I think what you want is a year before you made an Elias Pettersson move. You wanted a year to see what Berggren could do so that you could fill out this roster where you were putting Berggren on the third line. You don't want to put him in this position where if he starts showing promise in this season, you're like, well, what is he doing on the third line? He's clearly one of our best players. Put him on the first line. Like I'm saying you want to have an unquestioned first line kind of situation, unquestioned top six situation before you're making those moves. And when I say that, I think maybe I want four or five of those top six before you start going all in on that, because they should not be your first piece when you're going in on that. And
I think that's the ideal situation. I think that's an ideal situation. The tough part is like right now, Red Wing draft picks are at a premium because you know that there's still a toilet team. You're going to get good value for it. So for Yzerman, it's kind of like he's got to juggle. Where do I find that line where I know we're a couple players away and suddenly these draft picks are just going to be trash because they're going to be, at the end of the first round instead of, potentially the first, second, or third pick.
And I think with that, getting those four out of your top six too, like a lot of that is going to be taking a chance. Like I'm saying that situation for Steve Yzerman is him saying, I think Lucas Raymond can fill out this top six. I think if you're playing too slow of a game, then you're going to miss opportunities. The argument I'm making is that we end up this season, we pass on the Pettersson opportunity, right? But for going forward, if we get to see Lucas a little bit more, or it doesn't have to be Lucas Raymond. That's the thing. I'm putting that name out there. I'm just saying, if there is a guy who's showing some promise, I think once you put in that superstar, you're hoping that you're going to move forward with somebody else. And if you just keep waiting to see the promise before you start putting in, clicking in the right pieces, that's when this timeline is going to get all mixed up, and you're going to have guys that are getting paid at different times, and eventually this roster is just going to become a mess. Where I think if you're playing 3D chess, you've got to trust. You've got to trust that your scouts did the right thing. You got to trust that what you're seeing growth-wise from Sider and Raymond is the real thing. There's got to be something you're looking for that you can put your finger on and say this is legit, or it's maybe not legit or worth taking a chance on. And then you go ahead and do the big splash. Then you bring over what you need to bring over to make it playoff contending team. And of course, as we've seen Steve Yzerman do, he had a playoff contender for years in Tampa, and that's when he was sort of tweaking, getting rid of some star players, getting rid of, you talk about middle six guys, so guys that are going to be a great fit for almost any team, but Yzerman's moving those guys, moving his top 4 defensemen, and slotting in, what ended up being the Stanley Cup champion last year that his name doesn't get to be a part of, but clearly he made a huge difference in. But I think that's kind of how you want to get this all to shake out. And as you move forward, guys are going to start to come out as like, all right, this is I don't know how I want to put this. This is my superstar for the long haul. These are the guys that are getting my Nikita Kucherov contracts. And you want to be in those situations where it doesn't hurt you at all. You're not worried about the contract, the next season. You don't want to do anything silly like Bobrovsky down in Florida. And that's things I think anybody that's listening, we all know we can trust Yzerman not to make those silly decisions. But yeah, 18-minute answer short. Look for 4 of your top 6 forwards before you start making huge splashes.
I thought you were just going to say the word patience, but here we are. Matt, did you have any? I know again this is just ping pong balls, and we don't know really how this is going to pan out. But did you have any other points for tonight's show?
I mean, just to put out another point for patience, if I had to say how many guys we have right now that we can, with ink write in for, one of our 4 guys of the top 6 that I'm looking for before we make a big splash, I'm probably only ready to write in one name right now. And he's only been on the team for like 13 games. And even then, I think I'm going to have erasable ink, because he could be gone at any moment. I still think there's a trade piece there, but it's Jakub Vrana. He's the only guy I feel really good about slotting into that top 6 of the 4 guys I'm looking for. You could make the argument based on
it's going to be weird that
for Larkin, but
he might play 0 games with Bertuzzi. It's kind of weird. I could see one of those guys getting moved, and they never actually get to lace them up together.
I'll go back to what we rank those guys and their potential for coming back. I still think there's a lot of potential for Tuesday coming back. I'm
not against it. I just, kind of feels like one of those guys they might give a reset to, like Mantha.
Did I say Verana? Did I screw up?
Oh, I thought you'd said Verana. Yeah.
Okay. That's what I
think. North Moto was. I think he was agreeing. Yeah,
okay.
With Verana. Yeah.
Jakob Kindle. All right.
Yeah.
Mike, I think I could split this into 2 episodes for the podcast at least.
Right.
Let's sail off. I think I'll save. We've got plenty of time before the draft, so we can go through the likes of Luke Hughes, William Eklund. We can take a deeper dive. Simon Edmondson, Kent Johnson, the guys that I think, Dylan Gunther, the guys that I think will be available in that spot. And of course, I think we've already made a play at Dylan Gunther. We've already had an episode that revolved around us taking him. But the more that we talk about
we're going to
wanting
get
him,
stuck with Eklund.
I wouldn't say stuck.
I know, but he's the only guy under 6 foot. That's going to happen. I know it. If you look at the top 10 prospects, they're all like 6'1" and above. I know we're going to get Eklund.
I want Steve Yzerman. I want
there.
Steve here right now so he can go, oh, yeah, well, who's
else
the
you got?
first 5?
I just want to see him rocking around in his rocking chair over there. That's what I want.
You give him your pick. I want Dylan Gunther.
Interesting.
We'll
what else you got? North Moto throwing a dirty bird is coming back.
All right, I got Drapes back here. He knows. He drafted his son. He knows what's up.
Hold me back, Drapes.
Scouting director.
Hold me back. We got North Moto, by the way. Did say Dirty Bird coming back. Again, not against it. I could just kind of smells like one of those. Let's do a reset for this guy.
I feel like he's going to be that guy if we are a playoff contender, and I think I was sold on this idea from our blogger Jesse. But he seems like the guy that would be our huge playoff performer, Bert. Like he'd get in there and be the 4 goals in the first round to get us through, and then we as a team come together and get through that second round, and then we get to the conference finals, and Bert's got to come through again, and we're all we're one win away from the Stanley Cup, and everybody's going, well, Shade Wright's gonna win the MVP, but it should probably be Tyler Bertuzzi. Like that. So, I'm really painting a pretty picture for our future. But hey, somebody's got to do it. All right, everybody, we're gonna sign off. I'm gonna see if I can split this into 2 episodes. And then hey, big announcement. I will be interviewing with. I'll be having a conversation with Ken Cal next week because we're going to be doing a series with the Hockey Podcast Network about by the decade, even though I'm cheating a little bit, on dynasties in the NHL. So, of course, we'll be talking late 90s, early 2000s with the Red Wings. And
now we're just part of a dynasty.
Sorry.
We're a shady
great way to end the show.
Yeah,
all right, everybody, check out bodpodcast.com, brothersdiscussion.com. Support the show by clicking the shop button on the homepage. Find us on Twitter at BODHockey, on Instagram, brothers_of_discussion. And if you are watching us on YouTube, we would greatly appreciate the subscribe. And for everyone that's watched these last couple of weeks, while I've just been throwing together ideas and talking at myself for 7 minutes, thank you so much for subscribing and following along. It was fun and terrifying, and I enjoyed it. And I hope you guys enjoyed us getting back into the grind. All right, everybody. Yeah. Thank you.
What was that? You riding a horse? Man, you drive a sedan. Get out of here. All right.